It's time for story time. It's time for story time. Come on, friends, and join me now. It's time for story time. Assalamu alaikum, and welcome back to Story Time with Mrs. Big. My friend and I are so excited that you can join us. Eid Mubarak, all of you, and my family and friends. And we are celebrating Eid Adha. This is called the Feast of Sacrifice. So I have a wonderful story for you. And the story that I'll be reading is called The Best Eid Ever by Asma Mubin Uddin and illustrated by Laura Jacobson. Let's begin. You remember that I read a Ramadan story by the same author, and it was The Party in Ramadan. So this is a second book with that talks about Eid. It's Eid, the biggest holiday of the Muslim year, and Aneesa should be happy, but her parents are thousands of miles away for the Hajj pilgrimage. To cheer her up, her grandmother gives her a gift of beautiful Pakistani clothes along with traditional bangles and shoes. When Aneesa meets two sisters dressed in ill-fitting clothes for the holiday, she discovers that the girls are refugees. Aneesa can't stop thinking about them and what Eid must be like for them. That's when Aneesa comes up with a plan to help the girls celebrate Eid and make it the best Eid ever. So let's begin. And we talked about Hajj when I read the story Jan's Hajj, a lifetime of pilgrimage for a lifetime. And we talked about Hajj and during the last 10 days of Zulhijjah. And that's the story about Hajj. And this is also a book about Eid, but they will talk about Hajj. As Aneesa it says, her parents went for Hajj. So let's begin the story. The best Eid ever. Aneesa sat in her bed, looking out the window. Her parents were away at the Hajj pilgrimage, and she missed them. Saudi Arabia was so far from her home in America. She thought about last year's Eid holiday, when she had worn her new shalwar kameez with flowery orange henna designs on her hands. Daddy had said she looked just like a princess. Mommy had let her eat candy before breakfast. They all went to Eid prayers together and then visited friends all day. But today, the house was quiet. Just then, Aneesa's grandmother bustled into the room. Aneesa, happy Eid, Nonni said, and the bed and greeted her granddaughter with a big hug and kiss. Time to get ready for prayers. Aneesa returned the hug and then slumped back on the bed. Why the sad face, my dear? Nonni gently brushed the hair of Aneesa out of Aneesa's eyes. Do you miss Mommy and Daddy? Aneesa nodded. She felt like she might cry. I know it's hard without your parents here, Nonni said, but please don't be sad. Today of all days, we'll have fun together, just you and me, okay? Aneesa tried to smile. She didn't want her grandmother to feel bad. Okay, she said to Nonni, stood up and walked over to the closet. Now I have a surprise for you. Nonni lifted up a blanket and the closet shelf and pulled out a gift-wrapped box that had been hidden underneath it. Aneesa pulled the ribbon off the box and opened it. Her eyes lit up as she saw the beautiful Eid clothes from Pakistan. Pulling out of the kurta on top, she ran her fingers over the soft, shimmering fabric and its gold embroidery and shiny sequins. Purple and gold bangles clinked together as Nonni unwrapped them. Handmade Pakistan shoes tucked in tissue paper still lay in the box. Nonni, I love my new Eid clothes. How did you know purple was my favorite color? Thank you. Aneesa hugged her grandmother. I can't wait to get dressed. There's still more, Nonni said, smiling as she pulled a bright red shalwar kameez and a silky yellow garara out of the box. Each outfit had matching bangles and shoes. These are 3 sets of clothes, one for each day of the 3 days of Eid. Now, which one do you want to wear to prayers this morning? The purple one, Nonni smiled. It will look beautiful on you. I'll iron it while you're getting ready. But first, I have to stir the lamb korma. Lamb korma! Aneesa jumped out of bed and ran to the kitchen. The aroma of her favorite dinner cooking on the stove made her mouth water. Please, can I taste some? Nonni scooped out a spoonful of bubbling lamb curry, blew on it, made sure it wasn't too hot, and then gave Aneesa a taste. Aneesa savored the salty, spicy curry in her mouth. Yum! It's good. I'm glad you like it. Now let's hurry and get ready. We're not late for the prayers. At the prayer hall, the Imam gave a sermon about the Hajj pilgrimage. Aneesa had a hard time paying attention because she kept thinking about her parents and visiting and wishing they were with her. After the sermon ended, the women and children in the women's section of the prayer folded their prayer rugs and greeted each other. Aneesa hugged so many people, the donuts on the back tables were quickly finished. Aneesa noticed 2 young girls standing alone, watching the excitement around them. The older girl's hijab was torn. The younger girl's dress fell almost to the floor, and she kept her arms bent so her sleeves wouldn't slip down over her hands. Aneesa walked over them. Why didn't you wear your Eid clothes today? She asked. The older girl stared shyly at the floor. Seeing that her sister was not going to answer, the younger girl blurted out, We don't have new clothes this Eid. We had to leave all our stuff and run away when a fire burned our house down. The older girl turned toward her sister. Miriam, we have to be thankful the war can't get us now. We are safe and we are together. Papa says God will give us whatever we need. I wish Papa was here with us now, but ever since we came to America, he always has to work, Miriam told Aneesa. He even had to work on Eid, but later he's going to bring Zainab and me candy, and we're going to the mosque together for the afternoon prayers. Before Aneesa could say anything, Auntie Selma pulled her into a big hug. Aneesa Beti, Eid Mubarak, my dear, happy Eid. You look so pretty, mashallah, as God has willed. You and your Nonni can come and visit me today, okay? Aneesa was swept up by other aunties and friends in hugs, kisses, and greetings. While hugging Auntie Barak, Aneesa saw Miriam pick up a piece of donut off the floor. The girl looked around quickly. Then she put the donut piece into her mouth and licked the sweet glaze off her fingers. As people were leaving the prayer hall, Aneesa kept looking back at the girls. Finally, she had let go of Nonnie's hand and went back over to them. She didn't know what to say, but she couldn't leave without talking to them again. Hesitantly, she asked them, maybe we could play together sometime. Instantly, Miriam's face lit up. Sure, she said, flashing a bright smile. Zainab continued to look at the floor. Where? Where do you live now? Aneesa asked. In the apartments by the mosque, Miriam answered. Zainab lifted her head to look at Aneesa. A small, shy smile crossed her face. In number 63. A motherly woman ushered her 3 children and Zainab and Miriam out of the prayer hall. At home that afternoon, while Nonni was here heating up the food for dinner, Aneesa told her about the girls she had met. Nonni listened quietly. Sometimes when families leave their homes because of war or other bad problems, they have to leave behind everything they own, Nonni told her. Many families have come to America as refugees, looking for a safe, good place for their children to live and grow up. Dear God, help these families? Does God help these families? Of course, my dear. God helps everyone. Nonni was stirring the curry. but sometimes not in the way you might think. Instead of just taking away the bad times, he might send good people to help them through the bad times. Meanwhile, the families have to work hard and trust that God's help is always near. Nani opened the oven door to check on the roti. Do you remember the story of Prophet Abraham, his wife, Hajar, and their baby Ismail? Aneesa nodded. Mommy and Daddy had told her that many of the lessons of the Hajj pilgrimage were based on this story. Prophet Abraham's family trusted in God even in the very difficult times, and God always took care of them. Nani and Aneesa said a prayer for Zainab and Mariam's family. Then Aneesa told Nani about a plan she had made. Later that afternoon, as shadows lengthened across the city, Muslim families were leaving the mosque after praying as Asr prayer. Aneesa, sit quietly. Someone will hear you, Nani whispered to her granddaughter as they crouched behind the bushes outside her apartment building next to the mosque. Here they come. Duck down. Through the leaves, they saw the two girls and a man stop in front of the decorated baskets neatly arranged on the cracked stoop in front of their door. What's this? In surprise, the man read the attached card. Happy Eid to Mariam, Zainab, and their papa. Aneesa felt as if she might burst with excitement. Would they like the presents? Zainab and Mariam opened the baskets. Wow, beautiful clothes. Look at all the sparkles on this yellow shirt. What a pretty red outfit with matching bangles and shoes. I can't believe this, the man said softly. Lamb and chicken and rice and vegetables, even desserts and candy too. Who could have left all this? Papa, help us carry the basket inside. Mariam was trying to drag a basket across the sidewalk. Put them down, girls, their father commanded. We don't like charity. Their father paused. Then Mariam asked softly, can I keep the yellow clothes? I love yellow. And what about these sparkly bangles? No, no, my dears. Their father spoke again. You know that a Muslim does not beg from others. But Papa, we didn't ask for them, Zainab pointed out. Papa didn't budge. I will provide for my family. There are other people who need this food and these clothes more than we do. Now let's go. Can I just eat this cookie right now? Aneesa could hardly breathe. What if they didn't like the gifts? As she leaned forward to see a twig snapped under her. What was that noise? The father asked as he turned around to face the bushes. Aneesa and Nani ducked as his heavy footsteps approached their hiding place. Through the leaves, Aneesa could see the man's stern features and firmly set chin coming toward them. Hidden behind the thick eyebrows were a soft, gentle eyes. In these eyes, Aneesa recognized the same look of tenderness she often saw in her own father's face. Aneesa and the man looked at each other for a long moment. Then abruptly he turned around and walked back to his daughters. He knelt down on one knee and opened his arms. The girls wrapped their arms around him, and Mariam climbed onto his knee. Papa, there's more food that we need here, she said, small fingers gently touching his cheek. Why don't we share it with the neighbors? And please, can we keep the pretty Eid clothes, please? Asked Zainab. Aneesa saw the man's face soften as he drew his daughters close to him. As he hugged them, he nodded and he smiled at Aneesa and Nani. After Aneesa and Nani returned home, Nani picked up the telephone and dialed. Hello, I'd like to order medium vegetable pizza for delivery, she said. After she hung up, she shook her head. Eating pizza on Eid, my child. I have never had an Eid like this one. Me neither, Aneesa said. I can't wait to tell Mommy and Daddy about it. Later in the evening, as Aneesa and Nani snuggled up on the couch and ate pizza, they both agreed this had been the best Eid ever. Hajj pilgrimage. Islam's Hajj pilgrimage is one of the largest annual religious gatherings in the world. Millions of people make this sacred journey to sites in and near Mecca in present-day Saudi Arabia each year to worship God and seek His mercy and forgiveness. Adult Muslims must make the pilgrimage at least once in their lives if they are physically and financially able. Many of the rituals of Hajj relate to the experiences of Prophet Abraham and his family. Eid al-Adha. There are two main Muslim holidays. Eid al-Fitr is the holiday just after the month of Ramadan. Eid al-Adha is the holiday in this story. It's a celebration that occurs at the end of the Hajj pilgrimage. It honors the Prophet Abraham's steadfastness, obedience, and love for God because he was willing to sacrifice his only son in obedience to God's command. When it was clear that Abraham has passed this difficult test from God, a ram was substituted for sacrifice instead of the boy. This story is told in both the Quran and the Bible, although some details differ. The lesson of the holiday is that people should love God more than anything else in their lives. I hope that you enjoyed this wonderful story about Eid al-Adha. I love the story about Aneesa helping friends in need, people that were in need, and they were Maryam and Zainab. So I hope that you enjoyed the story. Until next time, see you soon. Eid Mubarak again to you and your family. Until we meet again. Assalamu alaikum. Bye now.